Welcome to the energy update for week 41. That is for the time of the 2nd till the 8th of October 21. A very, very interesting time here this first week of October. Lot is going on. You will feel this. You probably have been feeling this. If you're energetically sensitive, you could literally feel this come in here with the full moon last week. There is a lot of intensity there, and I sound like a broken record because this isn't going to change here anytime soon. Things will continue to build. This is very important that we understand this, and I want to just spend a few moments here in reflecting what this could possibly help us with. Why do things, when they escalate, how can that serve us? How can we begin to see more clearly what needs to be done, what needs to be changed, in the midst of the same thing repeating over and over again and escalating? It's because we can see our own incongruencies. We can see all the things that don't match up better when it's a bit exaggerated. It's the whole point of comedy, right? Comedy sometimes can be degrading, but really what comedy does is that it exaggerates. And this coming week here is almost like the week of exaggeration. It shows everything in this extremely contrasted and extreme sort of opposite. All right, we have been having this going on for a long time already, but in this next week you're going to feel this within yourself very, very clearly, and you're going to feel a super strong impulse, to stop trying to fix it. This is basically the mistake that we have been doing here in these last weeks and months, that we have tried to find a meaning or try to find something that we can hold on to that makes sense, right, in all that is going on here in the world, be it in regards to earth changes, be it in regards to the media wars that are going on, the mind control aspects that we are all experiencing through extremely contradicting messages that are being sent to us. It has basically put us in a state of total confusion, and in that state of total confusion, I sometimes refer to this as cognitive dissonance, we have somehow lost something. We have lost this connection with our own inner power. And this next week will show us these aspects where we have lost our inner power, where we have maybe sacrificed our own values, sacrificed our own integrity, sacrificed our own love. This is something that we are experiencing in this ongoing Gaia Sophia marathon that we have here at transCODES right now. How often or how this actually happens that we withhold our love, withhold ourselves for the sake of, let's say, getting some validation from other people, or for getting some privileges or some perks, or looking good in the eyes of other people, not realizing how we are actually violating our own boundaries. And this next week will show this to us in such an exaggerated way that we will indeed experience this. Wait a minute, this makes absolutely no sense. These compromises that I have been doing are not good for me. That is not sustainable. That is not doable. I've had enough. This is it. And with that, you can feel this as I am saying this, comes something like a call for action, a need to call a shot, to make a decision, to finally say yes to your true self, to what it is that you have been feeling within yourself as maybe your needs or your wants, or the sort of niggly feeling that you have been feeling about, things that don't really work well. And it can lead to breakups, and it can lead to you choosing to leave your job. It can lead to you choosing to not sort of expose yourself to things that you already know isn't good for you. Everything that you have already been knowing, and especially if you're an energetically sensitive or empathic person, that is more or less sort of compromising your integrity, is now being shown to you, being revealed in this extremely exaggerated way, so that there is no mistaking. That leads to a little bit of stress within, because when we find ourselves in that place, it's almost like a place of no return. Okay? You know what needs to be done, and you know that you can no longer violate your own integrity, which means it will feel a bit forced at first. So my tip for you here for this next week to better deal with these extreme opposites is to allocate the time for yourself to really feel yourself, be it through meditation, through active prayer, through silence. You wouldn't believe how much impact it can have on a person if they actually agree to just 10 or 20 minutes silence in their day, where you turn off all the noises, not just the actual sound noises, but also this energetic noise that we feel around us. When you turn that off, it doesn't really need to be more than 20 minutes. If you go beyond 20 minutes, then you're beginning to do something else, and that is you're beginning to interact with your higher power and really tune into inner guidance. So those of you who would like to go a step farther than just say no to what no longer serves, or what is no longer compromisable for you, you might want to go into this more visioning aspect of that and stay longer, stay with your heart longer, so that your body, your emotions, your mind, and your energy can relax in a way that you can actually feel this from within yourself more. And when I say this, what I mean is what needs to be done next, what needs to be prioritized, what needs to be broken down into smaller baby steps. Next week is all about claiming self. We have to claim our reality, our integrity, by basically following this reset routine. There'll be a lot of things that need to be discussed, resolved, that need to be communicated in this next week, and we'll see this on the world stage. There'll be a lot of sort of attempts to talk about things. The way this comes in for me is that we're going to see this in this, again, exaggerated way, how diplomacy can fail. All right, so there's a little bit of a wrench in that whole sort of communication with another, because the extremes are too far, they're too incongruent, and the common goal isn't defined yet. That will be our task for October, to define what it is that we all want, and to come together with that defined, say, new intention. And what this will lead to consecutively is us finding the people that we really resonate with, that we feel more congruent with, that are supportive for our journey, while simultaneously also honoring their journey. All right. So one of the big things that I see right now that are a bit in the way with connecting with ourselves and others is judgment. We are looking back and we're asking ourselves, oh, how did I get here? And blah, blah, blah. And we're trying to find culprits, and we're trying to find people or institutions or, things to blame on. If you get caught in that place, you will not be able to resolve anything. This comes from a dualistic place of trying to eradicate that which doesn't feel good. And when it comes to stepping into your higher truth, when it comes to stepping into that true self, that individuated soul self that you are, this is relatively easy because there is no sort of faking it. Okay, you can't just dip your toes and do this a little bit. There's something absolute about this, guys. There's something sort of as clear as day, if you will. Yeah, I sometimes use the phrase, no matter how you twist or turn it, it's not okay for me, or it won't work for me. So you can hear this. There's a lot that has to do with boundaries now. Making your stance for your own integrity, making a stance for what you know that you believe in. This is something that has been going on now for a year and a half, all right, and it's really coming to a head now here in this next week. Yeah, so it's really important that we again get a grip on these forces that influence our psyche, yeah, that make us sort of sacrifice our boundaries, our integrity here and there, and weed through them one by one, whether it's in regards to your home, your family, your relationship, your work, your finances. It's very, very important that you trust in what is right for you. Okay, there is no way for you to resolve things by looking for guidance on the outside. This will not reflect your integrity. This next week is all about claiming self. Another way to say this is to step up and show up for yourself. And on the more collective level of things, we're going to see this now more and more. This is just at the beginning, that companies and institutions will be questioned on their integrity. There's lots of notions right now to break large, these super large companies up like Facebook and so forth, to go into this antitrust or these class action suits against companies and their ways of doing things, because more and more people are becoming aware of how that is actually not okay. I'm using the word not okay to not sound not sound too intense about it, because some things are beyond not okay. They're unethical. But that is something that we as a collective here have to grow into. And this is what's happening right now. You will see within the next 3 or 4 months, it will go really, really fast now, how some of these institutions will really get a bit of a downer, will get a bit of a sort of a grounding experience. And some of that has to do with us standing up. So this next week actually comes with quite a bit of unrest, uneasiness in all of us individually, but also as communities. We're starting to go together, and we have to be careful here that we don't go into this other extreme, the fanaticism of it, the totalitarianism of that. We got to be careful. We within ourselves have to make sure, that we can say yes to everything that we agree to, but also to the things that we are sort of silently agreeing to by enabling and by not saying anything. So this is about finding the middle ground here, and you'll see a lot of back and forth. If you look at the transCODES calendar that comes with an energy wellness barometer for pretty much every day, then you'll see that this is a very, very mixed bag of energies here. Lots of ups and downs, lots of extremes, and we all gonna have to level ourselves out. We're gonna have to tame the pace. We're gonna have to break things down into priorities, baby steps, and then address them one by one. For many of you, it is more or less what you have been waiting for. This energy that comes in here really shows you what you need to stand up for. No more compromises. Now, as I'm doing this live here and as I'm interacting with you in these daily energy prayers, the energy talks, and also the energy tips, what is it that you can see that is not sustainable for you anymore, or that just simply makes you have to sacrifice too many things? What is it that you can see as maybe something that you could change, but that you didn't have enough courage for, or that is already like not really working well for you, but still not sort of the rock bottom, just a certain layer of rock bottom. You're not. How far does this need to go? How much more painful does this need to become for you to be able to trust? So for you, Linda, it's the boundaries. Yes. And stop the twists and turns of everyone else's. That is spot on. Spot on, Linda. It is. This is the kind of stuff that I was referring to when I talked about enabling. Because it will become very much aware to us how all that really just distances us from ourselves and makes us, violate our own boundaries or violate our own integrity. This needs to stop. Cindy, for you, it's your job. What else? What else is it that you guys already know? You already know it. But there still is like a certain level of convenience, or maybe a certain payoff, like an hidden or secondary self-gain in being the victim or staying where you're at. Admit this to yourself. Claim it. This is a choice that needs to come from within yourself. When you wait till things get so bad that you have to, which is one of these ego notions. And I'm not saying that you guys all need to change your job or, leave your relationships, because, we do have to make compromises with certain things in our lives. That is in the nature of things. I'm not talking about the things that are just not working right. I'm talking about the things that really go against your sense of self, against your integrity. This is a very, very fundamental level where you feel degraded, where you constantly question yourself, where you, like Linda called it, the twists and turns of everybody else's boundaries, hypocrisies perhaps also. Okay, Bettina Marie, it's the place I live in. I need to move again. Okay. With these kind of impulses, feel deeper into this. With the job, with family, with the notion to wanting to move. Our ego mind has a tendency to blame things onto, sort of something that sort of offers itself as the culprit, but isn't really the true cause. Yes, and this is where our payoff, where this sort of hidden self-gain comes in, because it makes it hard for us sometimes to realize the boundaries of it. What do we gain from staying here? What do we gain from, in this case, moving again? The payoff is too expensive for everyone, Linda. I like that. This is basically what you're saying is that it's not worth it. That the price is too high. The price is too high. That is something that could come from my internal dialogue. This is how I know when I am out of bound, when I step out of my integrity, or when I violated my values or my boundaries. The price is too high. But your work is sucking the life out of you, okay? So this, as you can realize, it is not that you're not good enough at what you're doing. There's just something. Can you put a finger on that, what that is, okay? Is that maybe the overall energy, the work environment? You say your boss respects and values you, so maybe nothing in that relationship, but maybe with co-workers. Or sometimes it can actually be the building that you're in. Or, that's very difficult sometimes for us to accept, the industry our job is in. Where we are serving a certain spirit, say, yeah, that kind of rubs against every fiber in us, even though we're good at it, even though we know what we are doing. Is it more like that? Okay, no, you work from home. The industry, yes. This is something, okay, that a lot of people will feel here in these next months and years. To become more selective about the industry that they work for, about the spirit of the company, if you will, the spirit of the industry itself. And if you're good at what you're doing, if you're valued, then all you really need to choose is maybe not change the industry entirely, because sometimes our job qualifications go with that, but to find a company. You're a lawyer. Okay, that's a tricky industry. It depends on what country. It can be even more tricky in certain countries like the US, for example. Yeah, so if you allow me to take this as an example, okay, as a lawyer, you often run into ethics and integrity issues with things, because depending on what kind of lawyer you are, but sometimes you have to defend something that isn't actually your personal opinion, and that's in the nature of being a lawyer. But what you can do, though, is, for example, switched sides, yeah, depending on what side of this sort of defending and accusing you're at, or look for firms that allow you to advocate, that allow you to bring yourself, your personal passion, your personal mission, your personal purpose in. Yeah, and sometimes that requires us to be courageous. We have to make a step out of that sort of normal career path, and we have to take risks. But the way things are going here in our world, and how this is going to be in the future, is that the more authentic, the more congruent, the more integrous, also known as sort of the more conscious, awake and aware a person is about what they represent, what they embody, and what they're enabling, the more supported they will be. So we all have these big and little things to decide. For example, this is a good example for you. Okay, neither a teacher nor do I run schools, but in the process of all these mandates and all these different issues with how schools need to follow mandates, I've decided, because I still have a 7-year-old, to just simply do my own school. This is not my business. This is not my expertise. But I've gathered like-minded people that know how to run a school, that know how to teach classes, all I really did was go out with my energy and say, okay, I don't know if I can support this. I don't know if I can enable this, what is going on. I want to take things into my own hands. Are you with me? Okay? And all of a sudden, that energy, that resolve attracted a lot of other professionals, a lot of other entrepreneurs and people that are recognizing, all right, that this is the way to go. Yeah, if we are like this industrious within ourselves, and we have the wits about like what needs to change, all it really takes is to express that, to get together with maybe one or two other people. Yeah, in my case, it took one other parent, courageous, yeah, and wonderful entrepreneurial spirit to say, let's take this into our own hands. Mm-hmm. Yes, and your freedom is infringed upon. Yeah. It doesn't matter what your colleagues think. This is something that we need to answer for ourselves, each and every one of us. I cannot send my child to a regular school knowing that he grows up in an emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually unhealthy way. I do not want to be a homeschool parent per se either, so I've tried new ways. Yeah. And that inspires me, that energy set a whole new sort of wave of energies, ripple effects into motion, and is now basically also helping other people to liberate themselves. So sometimes it takes a little bit of courage. This next week is one of those weeks, guys. All right? Be very conscious and conscientious about your boundaries and what works for you and what doesn't work. You don't have to do everything on your own. Express it. Find the right people. Don't try to convince other people, just express it. What it is that you no longer want to serve and what it is that you would like to do with this. And if you don't know yet what to do with this, then go within. All right? Take a little bit of a time out here, a few days. Shut down the bombardment that comes in from the outside. Remember, it's veiled diplomacy, so there's a lot of talking here in this next week that will bombard us, that will be to no avail. There will nothing come out of this, okay? Even though communication is important, but it is not that old way. We need to come up with new ways. Mm-hmm. Yes, find the people that do see eye to eye with you, okay? Even if it's just one other person, and then sort of piggyback right off each other's support. In my case, it was just one other person, okay? And in so many other examples, you'll see that all it takes is a little bit support. This is also where a therapist, a coach, and so forth can come in, to help, or a mentor. Maybe you have a mentor in your life, yeah, that can help you with sort of building you up and say, you can do this. All it takes is that encouragement, that empowerment, guys. I hope that you will be able to use this time here in this next week to really feel into what your integrity is and to claim self, to claim yourself for yourself. Okay? It may take another week or a few more weeks for you to come up with a concept or a strategy. Right now, what it is that you need is to feel your own integrity. Please go to my SoundCloud. Yeah, there you can find the energy alignment for October. It is a 20-minute energy process, 20-minute meditation, aligned to these energies here in October and aligned to the purpose that all that, that it sort of triggers in us and that it asks us to follow up on. There is also on my website, transcodes.com, you'll find the Energy Wellness Calendar and all the public sessions that are going on here at transCODES as part of the many online courses, personal programs, and group programs. Thank you, everybody, for coming to these wonderful occasions. Those of you who have come to appreciate the daily energy prayers, I will be back here at 11:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. See you tomorrow.